to be made, ladies and gentlemen. This is the very first Chessable Masters qualifier, and we got the moves.
Let's go. All right, we have e4, e5. So the players are, honestly, not necessarily fighting for an Esports World Cup spot. I'm sure that both of these players are going to be there, guaranteed at this point, but there's a lot on the line when these two match up. It's pride, it's prize money, and they're representing their esports works.
And for the first time ever, chess is gonna be a part of the esports World Cup. So yeah, that's a big thing for everybody, for all of us, even for you and me, Aman.
100%. Let's talk chess here. We have e4, e5 now, looking very, very timid here to start off. Nothing too crazy. Hikaru had so many battles against Alireza and even Nepo. They kind of repeated that line where the white queen got over to a2. So it made me think, when I saw this, is Magnus interested in playing some of those variations? It seems like not quite, and very, very reasonable start here. White goes for h3. Black retreating the bishop, getting out of the way of moves like b4, moves like d4. But I think we're going to see classic slow maneuvering. Knight from d2 can even go to f1 and g3. This is a very typical maneuver, and black might do the same. Knight e7 to g6, and then maybe pawn c6.
Yep, that's a very classic way of starting the game. In a way, boring, if I may. I'm pretty sure for Magnus it is looking boring, but he needs to be careful because this is, when you relax too much, this is where your opponent gets you. And yeah, I mean, the amount of games that has been played in this line is probably the same as the amount of stars in the galaxy.
Yeah, and even between these two players, they've played so much, but I was kind of thinking back that the last time they've really matched up has been almost more than a year ago in a serious event. They kind of traded wins in the Speed Chess Championship. I think 2022 Nakamura got the win, and then 2023 Carlsen got the win. So these are just the literal two best players in online chess.
Yep, and looking at this position here, we see b3, an interesting way of developing your bishop from the other side. Some fianchetto, or maybe just bishop on a3, preparing the pressure over this diagonal. But look at this bishop b5, pinning the knight and saying, I don't need your bishop.
Yeah, Hikaru's kind of looking to the side, kind of processing the last couple moves. I thought they did look a little strange, particularly the move b3. Not really used to this move. The knight on d2 moving to f1, making way for the dark squared bishop to develop is a bit more standard. Bishop could go to e3, trade off for black's pretty powerful bishop aimed at white's king. But instead, we see b3. Now, you're right, it might be to get that bishop out, but interestingly, the move b3 could just be for bishop b2 and pawn to d4, just supporting the central advance there.
That would be the dream come true, having such a strong and big center.
not have anything for that, right? Like he's got to have something prepared. So I wonder what he missed here. He clearly overlooked something. Yes, the bishop is attacked. I think the threat is simply rook over to c3, and you can't do anything about moving that bishop because the knight still needs protection.
And looking at Hikaru's face, he's certainly not happy. He's realizing what's going on. He's nodding his head. He looks like it stinks. The position stinks.
Maybe pawn to d5? Like, at this point, I'm just trying to save everything. I'm sure this move is no good. I'm trying to protect everything, but there's so many threats. The rook c3, and let's not forget, white has a pass pawn protected on a7. So even if we don't win a piece here, we can appreciate that in order to get out of this tangled mess that he's put himself in, he's not going to be able to also handle a pass pawn on the 7th rank.
And he's going low on time already. Only 1 minute for Hikaru Nakamura versus 4 minutes for Magnus Carlsen. Honestly, this looks just too good to be true.
Yeah, unfortunately with no increment here, Hikaru feels that he has to spend the time because, he's shaking his head. He knows that the engine is obviously reflecting here, but his evaluation is going to be the exact same. There's probably not a way to save the piece without heavy material loss, and he's going to try d5. What else can you do? But I think he knows that there's just no saving all of these tangled pieces.
But Aman, if we think about this position and f5 happened on the board, it's almost like taking the pawn on d3 wasn't the crucial mistake. It seemed like it was already a bad situation that you just needed to find any play.
Yep, definitely agree. Knight takes d3 was definitely the nail in the coffin, but it was trending towards a nice position for Magnus, and he basically correctly evaluated that this pawn on the a file would be strong. I can even say myself, I was looking at it and I thought, well, if it goes up into black's position, surely we'll just be able to win it. And as he defends the knight here, I think we know maybe he's going to try a queen g3 just to, last ditch effort, but he lost the piece and he's got 27 seconds. This is unfortunately going to be Magnus's first win.
There is a cute little tactic, knight to f2, and if bishop takes f2, then rook takes... Oh! And it's not enough?
Well, I think that the a7 pawn is almost worth an entire rook, and Magnus is looking at 20 seconds for his opponent and thinking to himself, okay, why am I going to stress trying to find the absolute perfect defense? Let me just sack some material. I already won some. Correctly evaluates that was the easiest path to victory, and Magnus Carlsen takes game number 1 in the grand finals against Hikaru Nakamura. And honestly, Hikaru going to be kicking himself. He's speaking, he's kind of words of encouragement to himself on the camera right there.